Yo, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to the Crucible Brothers. My name is Lionhearts, and today we are here, we are ready, we are finally past the contest raid hype, which means we are over the official hump of the Lightfall launch cycle in terms of PvE content, and now we can get down to business and start focusing on what's going on in PvP this season. Real quick, just want to throw this out there. I know there's been a lot of contentious thoughts going around about the raid race and the state of the new raid and all that, and well, I prefer to just sit back and watch the fires burn. If you want my quick opinion, we did contest. Me, my brother, and some friends, and some LFGs. We did our contest on day one in about 8 hours. And, listen, for some people, raids are always going to be difficult. Contest raids are always going to be of a difficulty that is hard for them to understand. Some people have an easier time than others. And on top of that, we are unfortunately at a state in the game where we are very, very strong, overpoweredly so, especially in cases like Starfire Warlock. And unfortunately, there's no real way around it. The final boss of this raid did not have enough health. So all that culminates in a very easy contest, and frankly, now contest is off, an even easier raid experience. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is kind of up to your opinion. However, I do believe that we could do better for everyone by just having selectable difficulties, and then we wouldn't have to fight with each other so much. Which is pretty much kind of the end of that. There are more qualified people like Datto to talk about this than me, so let's get back to what we're actually going to talk about today, which is PvP, and a classic launch exotic, the SUNSHOT. Now sure, it's a little bit weird to focus on an old exotic when there's so much new stuff to cover in terms of the Crucible, but I was really looking forward to trying SUNSHOT in Lightfall because it got some cool changes on the PvE side of the game, and while I was floating around doing some powerful grinding, I said, you know what, might as well bust down PvP and see how it's been, because I haven't used SUNSHOT in maybe 3 years. And frankly, I really enjoyed my experience. I think we are now at a point where SUNSHOT is definitively underrated in the overall hand cannon meta, and I want to talk about that. Its place in the game, how to use it, why it's so much better now than previous seasons, and what you should be looking for in terms of a great SUNSHOT experience. But, as always, before we get too deep, make sure you guys take a second, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. That helps out massively with the YouTube algorithm as we get ready to start pumping out more content going forward. So join us, do those things, and let's get right back to the meat of it. So I would often describe SUNSHOT as being kind of this ugly duckling weapon. It's always been really good, it's always had a lot of cool upsides, but it's never had enough to justify its place as an exotic hand cannon to be used over its legendary or exotic counterparts. And while yes, there's a lot of cool aspects to SUNSHOT, especially in the current meta, it's the only remaining 150 hand cannon. It has access to explosive rounds for increased flinch. It has this ability to chain a lot of explosions and multi-kills when you're team fighting. All these are really cool and really unique, but it has some fixed issues that really have been hard for it to overcome, especially in the past. It's an energy weapon, and frankly for the lifetime of the hand cannon meta in Destiny 2, frankly kinetic hand cannons have been better, both because some of them are the most powerful hand cannons in the game, like Ace of Spades and Hawkmoon, but also because what's your favorite pairing with a hand cannon? It's a shotgun or a sniper. And traditionally, the best shotguns and snipers have been found in the energy slot. Think of like Fellwinter's, Found Verdict, Matador, Beloved. All these weapons take up the slot that SUNSPOT takes. And unlike something like the Palindrome, you can't even pair SUNSPOT with something like Chaperone. So you have a much more limited array of options. Eye of Soul, the Wastelander, or Fractithist. And while a lot of these options are really good, is Eye of Soul really that much better than Beloved? I don't know. Wastelander has been a victim of the lightweight shotgun nerfs last season, so I don't even think it's that good anymore. And yeah, Fractithist is the only option alongside Matador in terms of 90 RPM shotguns that have opening shot, but it loses to Matador in the stats department. And if you're a fan of hand cannons, you probably do like some of those kinetic options more, like the Steady Hand, Ace of Spades, Hawkmoon, as we already mentioned. So a lot of those things are going against SUNSHOT right off the bat. So the first real thing going for SUNSHOT in the current meta, and the thing that made SUNSHOT stand out as a much better overall pick this season in Lightfall, is the introduction of not one, but 2 god-tier aggressive shotguns in the kinetic slot. The return of Imperial Decree as a craftable option, and then when Trials comes back, the Astral Horizon. So not only will you have a god-tier crafted option in Imperial Decree that you can deterministically seek out to add to your arsenal, if you grind Trials and you get lucky, and get a God Roll Adept Astral Horizon, we will finally have an answer to Found Verdict in the game. As of right now, in terms of shotgun hierarchy, Found Verdict stands alone. If you have a God Roll Time Loss Found Verdict, that is the best pellet shotgun in the game. There's literally nothing else that does what it does. Matador is a close second. then everything else kind of falls after that. Your Fractithis, your Mindbender, stuff like that. Imperial Decree is right there next to Fractithis as an impressive S tier shotgun option. If you can get it fully crafted, it's immensely powerful. And if you get that Astral Horizon, you now have 2 amazing options to pair with this exotic hand cannon. So now that you've optimized your loadout, we can really play into what makes SUNSHOT so good. And that's that SUNSHOT might be the best aggressive hand cannon in the game right now. That extra little bit of RPM allows you to duel 140 hand cannons and beat them in time to kill. You combine that with explosive rounds, and you're putting out an insane amount of flinch against anyone in a duel. This can allow you to beat things that would normally beat you in terms of time to kill. Making people miss shots with pulse rifles or SMGs or auto rifles can be absolutely devastating. And even when you're outside of the damage fall off on SUNSHOT, explosive rounds still hurt. It's great for pick damage and being able to flinch snipers at a distance. And this aggressive play is really what you have to lean into with SUNSHOT, because you are lower range than your contemporaries in terms of hand cannons. SUNSHOT clocks in at a damage fall-off range of about 32.5 meters. And that means you're going to be experiencing damage fall-off very quickly, while other rangefinder max range hand cannons can hold off until that 35 and 36 meter mark. And that can be detrimental. However, again, you have an RPM advantage, you have explosive rounds. These duels are not as unfavorable as you think against stuff like Palindrome, Rose, and other god-rolled 140 hand cannons. Also keep in mind, SUNSHOT now interfaces with Solar 3.0 as of Lightfall. This is not something I actually thought to explore when I was getting footage for this video. I kind of only really thought about after the fact. But SUNSHOT applies Scorch. You could chip someone with SUNSHOT and then use the new powered up firebolts from the artifact to potentially proc an ignition and get a one-hit kill with firebolts that you normally wouldn't. That's something I need to do more independent testing on, but again, applying Scorch is a big deal because there's a lot of solar splash damage going on with certain loadouts. Maybe you hit someone with a Trip Mine Grenade on Hunter, and then you tag them with SUNSHOT. Suddenly you could be proccing ignitions that could chain kill into a bunch of people. There's a lot of interesting stuff to play around with that. I really couldn't make it happen because, well, you know, only limited amount of time to play with all the raid prep, you know, give me a break. But I think that could be explored further and could come up in really insane scenarios when you're talking about team shotting. The multi-kill potential for SUNSHOT should not be slept on. If you can get the kill, that person is going to explode and do a lot of chip to nearby teammates. It's Dragonfly on crack. Do not underestimate that. Another thing to keep in mind is that SUNSHOT actually feels really great in air right now. With the changes last season to airborne effectiveness, SUNSHOT comes in with a really high base airborne of 22. For the reference, that's better than a lot of legendary hand cannons and most exotics. Really only Hawkmoon comes to mind as a hand cannon that has a higher base airborne effectiveness without an Icarus mod equipped. That's better than Rose, it's better than Ice Luna, it's better than Fatebringer. It's really, really good. So you pair that with any airborne boosting exotic or subclass, and SUNSHOT offers a great aggressive in-air playstyle as well. So that's at a premium in the Crucible right now, with us being limited in terms of what we could do in terms of airborne. Alright, so that's pretty much all I got to say about SUNSHOT, so we're just going to chop it up for a few minutes here. Some of this back half of this gameplay is actually from a stream where me and Gumi played competitive to do our placements for this season. And I used SUNSHOT for all of my placement matches this season because I wanted to see how it did in a competitive environment. And we played, I want to say like 10 games during this session, and we went 7-3. I played SUNSHOT every game on Strand Warlock with fitting aspects. So Ophidians are giving me some extra airborne and helping me swap to my Imperial Decree, and I managed to play really well. And honestly, I don't play hand cannons, like regular hand cannons, all that often. If you watch my stream or you watch the videos, I like Sturm, I like Crimson, I like weird hand cannons. I don't like to run normal, standard, missionary hand cannons like Ace of Spades. So, for me to use SUNSHOT as well as I did, I think speaks volumes to how valuable it can be. I was winning duels that I really don't think I would have won with any other hand cannon. The flinch felt great, the handling felt great, the in-air felt great with Ophidians. So really, I think this is an extremely viable hand cannon. If you look online and you look around for hand cannon tier lists, you'll often see SUNSHOT put somewhere in like the B to A tier, but I think this season, with access to the better shotguns, I would say SUNSHOT is a definitive S tier hand cannon. It felt amazing. If you're looking for something new to try, looking for a new exotic hand cannon to give a go, dust off the SUNSHOT, complete that catalyst, and take it out and give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Oh, alright, so that wraps up this video. Oh man, I am tired. Listen, regardless of what you hear about the discourse around the raid race, I was exhausted by the time we were done with our contest runs. We did 2 contest clears. I've never done that before. I only have 2 previous contest clears, that would be Deepstone Crypt and Battle of the Disciple. And man, whew, it's been a long few days in terms of grinding raids. But now that's over, we're going to be doing raids here to get the new raid weapons. Hopefully we can get the new raid exotic soon. And now streams can really be focused on PvP because I don't have to light level grind anymore. Oh my god, thank you! Whew! If you made it this far, put it down in the comments below. Let me know what weapons you want to see us look at right away. We'll put them on the list. I already have some stuff in mind, and we're going to be working on those right away. Once again, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, leave a comment. You know what to do, man. Anyways, my name is Lionhearts. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.